What is up, guys? It's me, the ALE Double X Prince, and here are matches that should have happened from each SummerSlam from 1988 to even 2020. Yes, now if you guys remember, I did one for WrestleMania matches that should have happened at each WrestleMania each year, like matches that we should have gotten. This time, I'm gonna do one video. The reason why I did two videos last time is because I was doing it by phone, and you know how the phone doesn't have as much data, so you have to kind of do it really fast. So at least this time I will be able to talk a little bit more. A lot of the haters are gonna be like, "Oh, he talks too much." Click off. But apparently, long videos lead to great views, so I really don't care if you guys want to watch it or not. If you guys do watch it, thank you for supporting my channel. Be sure to subscribe. Let your peeps know. I'm this close to making it to 100. That's just crazy. I've been here since 2015, 5 fucking years, and I have never made it to 100. That is fucking insane. Let's try it, man. Let's at least do it. Let's try to make it. But anyways, after the video, I will be talking about some future videos I have in mind, and even there are gonna be some wrestling reviews, some wrestling talk, whatever, as always. But I also want to do freaking non-wrestling videos, and you'll see in a bit some, so don't worry about it. Anyways, let's just get on started with this. So 1988, there wasn't really anything that I necessarily hated. For the first SummerSlam, it was alright at best. It wasn't like the greatest spectacle that we could have gotten. Really, it was mainly focused on the main event, which I liked. I enjoyed the main event. As far as what I would move around, I would actually move the Hart Foundation versus the Fabulous Rogue Heroes. Just or do the Hart Foundation versus the Killer Beast, somebody else. But honestly, I personally think that we should have gotten at this SummerSlam Demolition and the British Bulldogs. That is the match I'm going with. Demolition and the British Bulldogs. If I am correct, British Bulldogs and the Fabulous Rogue Heroes ended in a time limit draw. I thought it was the best match of the night, which wasn't great, but come on. But imagine the British Bulldogs versus Demolition. Some smaller guys against some like big brute guys who have been the longest running tag team champions up to this point. Imagine that kind of match that we could have gotten. It would have been a different take, and it would have been a better version of the tag team matches. Again, I didn't really hate SummerSlam, the first one, but if I were to change something, it would be that, just so I could have a different match. Plus, we get Hart Foundation and Demolition 2 years later, and that match is even better. 1989, this one's an easy one. Hulk Hogan versus Macho Man Randy Savage for the WWE Championship. Why the fuck did they bring in Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Zeus? I don't know what was the point of this. I don't know if this is backstage politics from Hulk Hogan, but if it was, this, you could agree, is one of the stupidest ideas you've ever had. If anything, why don't they just do Zeus in the corner to promote No Holds Barred? And if you want Brutus Beefcake to be on Hogan's corner, fine, but we should have gotten Hogan, Macho Man, the rematch from the Mega Powers. I don't know why, but recently people have hated rematches. Rematches are great if done right. Look at Michaels and Taker from Mania 25 to Mania 26. Look at I'm trying to think of some good examples, some even recent ones to say the least. I'm trying to think of some. Hell, even recently, Pac and Hangman Page, they've had multiple matches. Some not so good than others, but they knew which ones were going to be their key matches to promote. But anyways, yeah, Hogan and Randy Savage. Another one, which happened tonight. Jericho and Orange Cassidy. I mean, they knew how to promote those matches. Granted, the first one, I'm gonna be honest, this one wasn't as good, but the first one was great. I could say that. Anyways, but yeah, Hogan and Savage should have happened in 1989. I think hands down we could all agree with that. 1990. This was a really weird one. In one hand, you have the greatest tag team match of all time, or one of the greatest tag team matches of all time, and then you have Like everything else is shit. There really wasn't anything to really like move around with this show. The only real thing I would do is switch Rick Rude and Earthquake's roles. I think Hogan should have fought Rick Rude, which is the match I'm going with. Hulk Hogan and Rick Rude, and then Warrior faces Earthquake in a steel cage rematch. Two big guys just brooding, beating the shit out of each other in a steel cage, and it makes sense because that way his tag team partner, I think it was Dino Bravo at the time, wouldn't be teaming up or wouldn't go after him. Warrior and Earthquake with a steel cage because you don't want Jimmy Hart and Dino Bravo interfering would have been great. But the real match that should have been in here is Rick Rude and Hulk Hogan. A different style of match. Yes, Hulk Hogan would have won, but at least the match would have been a lot better than what the fuck we got. Um, Actually, Warrior and Rude wasn't bad, but at this point, this is where rematches got kind of lame. It was like no point of doing Rick Rude and Warrior again. We've seen it enough times by this point, and it was a good mid card division match. It was nowhere near a WWF Championship match. That's the honest truth. There's certain matches that are meant to be for the world title, and some matches are meant to be for the Intercontinental title, and this was one of those things. 1991. I really couldn't think of anything because the show was so great. Hell, this is the show where we got Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect in that incredible match where Perfect was injured and he still fucking pulled a classic out of his ass. Um, but I'm gonna be honest, we could have gotten something else. This is the night where Hulk Hogan fought the Triangle of Terror. I personally would have done Warrior squash all three of them one by one or something like that, and then I would do around this time they wanted to do Hogan and the reason why Bret was the IC champion is because they really wanted Hogan. I think didn't want to put him over, but we should have gotten SummerSlam 1991 Bret and Hogan at this SummerSlam. I'm okay with that we didn't get it, but I really couldn't think of anything to put in here. Honestly, other than the main event, the show wasn't that bad. Honestly, even Big Boss Man and the Mountie was a very funny match. Like the winner or loser goes to jail match. That was great. Legion of Doom and the Nasty Boys wasn't that bad. Again, Bret and Perfect stole the show. But as far as a big marquee match with two baby faces would be Hogan and Bret. But again, I digress. Not really a match that I could live without. 1992, Randy Savage and Ric Flair. Again, this is one of those times where we could have used a rematch, and I know that they didn't want to take the belt off Savage quite yet, or did they? I can't remember. But if they did a time limit draw and then they had another independent show where it's like no time limit, anything goes until one pinfall and then they could go an hour. But this could have been the match where they had a time limit draw and then eventually down the road they get a no time limit kind of thing. Or they do the Iron Man match if that helps you guys. But yeah, this could have been the starting point. I personally think that the WWF Championship could have been was great that they ended in a time limit draw. I like Warrior Savage, but Ric Flair and Randy Savage could have done better with 30 minutes. I believe that one ended with a double countout, which sounds like an even worse finish. But the main reason why I would have it end in a time limit draw is because I still would want Bret and Davey Boy Smith to be the main event of the show. That's just why. But yeah, that's how I would have booked 1992. That's the match that we should have gotten. Savage Flair, and hell, we could have done the time limit draw. That way it could have been something special. And something new. I don't think SummerSlam ever ended, a SummerSlam match ended like that up to this point, or ever. 1993. Ooh, this is one of the worst ones. This is one of those bad. Like, 1993 was just a fucking awful year. Fat chance. Like, give me a fucking break. As far as matches I would have done, if we weren't going to do it at WrestleMania, we definitely should have had it here. Money Inc. versus the Steiner Brothers for the WWF Tag Team Championships. For some reason, I've always wanted to see this match. Steiner Brothers and Money Inc. If there's one on YouTube, let me know. I'll check it out. But yeah. Steiner Brothers are easily the best part of 1993. Them and Bret Hart. and they deserve to be in the tag team title picture. Not what were they doing in real life? I don't even remember. Oh, they were the tag team champions, but well, DiBiase was like up to no good. IRS was fighting the 1-2-3 kid. Oh, Ted DiBiase fought Razor Ramon in the opening match, but again, this show was just bad. We needed a great match or at least a good match in there because this was honestly one of the most forgettable shows I have ever seen. A really ugly ass show. 1994. Now, a lot of people give crap to Undertaker versus Undertaker, but I actually kind of like the story in the sense that it debuted Undertaker with the purple gloves, the long straight hair. I love that it did that. As far as the match goes, yeah, it was kind of stupid, but I enjoyed it for what it was. But that wouldn't be the match I would replace. This show honestly was meh. But what I would have done, I would have had the Head Shrinkers fight somebody else for the tag belts. But the main one I would do is Lex Luger and Bam Bigelow. I think they still wanted to do Lex Luthor do something big or something to that extent, and I think Bam Bigelow would have been a good like mid card guy he could have fought. Something about Lex Luthor and the WWF WWE, he sucked, but I think they could have had some potential. Like at least he could have been a mid carder. I don't know why, but Lex Luthor in WCW was a fucking megastar, and he still is to this day. Yeah, he did some crazy shit, and probably why he'll never be in the Hall of Fame. But I respected the guy's talent. As a person, yeah, fuck him. 1995. Oh my god, this one was so obvious, but they didn't do it. They should have done Diesel and Davey Boy Smith. That could have been a cool main event. Like Davey Boy Smith, technically one of the last graduates of the Hart family at this point, because we've had Bret and Owen be in the title picture. This should have been Davey Boy Smith's moment. Even if he wasn't gonna win, this could have been a cool moment to have Davey Boy Smith, a former SummerSlam main eventer, going up against Diesel, who was like their top guy. Now, granted, they probably were gonna boo Diesel and cheer Davey Boy Smith, and that could have upsetted them. But who gives a shit? Hell, this should have been the night Diesel lost the belt to Davey Boy Smith. Then that way we do Davey Boy Smith and Bret the Hitman Hart at In Your House or Survivor Series or something to that extent. We continue that feud and then do Bret and Diesel at Survivor Series 1995. Something way much better because let's be honest, Diesel WWF champion, stupid. But I do understand why they did it. So there's that. 1996. Now there's reasons why we never got this, but I really wish we got in this match. I have always dreamt of having this kind of match. It's either this or Warrior and Sting. Not the Crow Sting, but yeah. But the other Surfer Sting. Anyways, I would have done Vader and the Ultimate Warrior. Two big men. I think Vader could have been a perfect heel who would eventually fight Shawn Michaels down the road. And then we could have done Michaels and Owen for the WWF Championship, something else. And then this could have been a perfect match to build up Vader. Now, granted, I guarantee you Warrior was not going to put over Vader. But potato, I think deep down they could have worked something out and have a good dream match. 1996 was this was a very dull ass show. The only thing I remember was Mankind and Undertaker, the Boiler Room Brawl, which was like fucking a good cinematic match before they became a big thing. And then Michaels and Vader, which was an even bigger match. Unfortunately, this led to Vader's downfall in the WWF. So, but yeah, Warrior and Vader, that could have been a cooler match. And then we could have done Michaels and Owen on the show. But yeah, Ultimate Warrior, Vader, that is just 1997. Now, 1997 is actually one of, if not my favorite, SummerSlam. This was literally the Harts versus the WWF, and unlike 2010 when they did the Nexus angle. Instead of putting all of them at once, they waited. They did that in Canadian Stampede, but now they're all trying to get their belts, or at least retain their belts. So that was the main part of it. I really wouldn't change 1997, other than maybe Nation of Domination versus Legion of Doom this time for the tag belts, because that Chicago street fight with Ahmed Johnson and Legion of Doom at Mania 13 was the second best match of the show behind obviously Austin and Bret, which honestly, if that match never happened, WrestleMania 13 would have easily been the worst WrestleMania of all time, hands down. So, Legion of Doom, they've beaten the Nation, so they should have gotten a tag team title shot. Honestly, when you put the Nation of Domination, when you put the Legion of Doom in the tag team title picture, I guarantee you they get gold because these guys put in effort. They know that SummerSlam is a big show and they need the best out of it. So yeah, it should have been Nation versus Legion. That sounded kind of cool. Nation versus Legion? That sounds fucking badass. 1998, another SummerSlam that I really, really enjoyed, but for the most part, there was a lot of squash matches. The Oddities versus the Coyote. Like this, I don't even know what the fuck that is, but sounds lame. Everything else looks pretty fucking cool. Like we had the first ever Lions Den match, Austin Taker, which if you guys saw my SummerSlam challenge, spoiler alert, that was in it. Triple H and The Rock in the ladder match, which was my favorite match of the night. The fact that two big men or like two like stronger men, not like some lightweight people, pulled off a ladder match was great. To be fair, it's Triple H and The Rock. But the match that we definitely should have gotten on this show is Mankind versus Kane in a casket match or something to that level. I think we should have gotten Kane and Mankind. And who knows, if either one of them lost, we could have probably gotten something new out of it when they would come back. This is the Attitude Era when anything could have happened. So imagine Kane and Mankind in a casket match, and then maybe Mankind wins and he lights it on fire, then we get a different kind of Kane, or vice versa. We could have done a lot with Mankind and Kane. Granted, the match wouldn't be great, but it would have been a cool moment. I guarantee you that. 1999. I didn't hate 1999. This is honestly one of their better pay-per-views in 1999. This was at the time where the Attitude Era was just doing whatever they wanted, and it made no sense. Like the dark, I believe it was the Ministry of Darkness, and Mr. McMahon was the one behind it. It was me, Austin. That was just garbage. But the real thing that they should have done, a lot of people say Stone Cold and China should have happened. I'm a little glad that they didn't do that because that would have just been bad because China, they really wanted China to be the WWF championship, the WWF champion. But do you really want China, a woman, to beat Stone Cold Steve Austin? I understand why they went down the path of making her the IC champion, which worked out to their advantage because that was way much better. And I'm not saying that women should not hold men's belts. I'm just saying that women should only beat certain people. Imagine if Tessa Blanchard beat Brian Cage for the Impact World Championship. That would sound kind of lame. And it would like really debunk Brian Cage from being a monster. That's just the honest truth. But anyways, the match that we should have gotten in 1999 was Austin and Triple H. Just a one-on-one match. Mankind was thrown at the last second, which was dumb because he was just going to lose it right back to Triple H. Right back to Triple H like either the next night or 2 weeks later. I can't remember, but that was just pretty stupid. We should have just gotten Austin Triple H. Triple H goes over, and he goes on a dominant run. 2000 actually wasn't that bad. I've even rebooked this show, and to be fair, I hate that rebooking. It was just a really dumb video. I didn't like it. But a match that definitely should have happened just one-on-one was Triple H and Kurt Angle. I know that the King of the Ring always fights the champion at SummerSlam, but we should have gotten Triple H and Kurt Angle in a one-on-one street fight just to end their feud and possibly build up Kurt Angle to be a top-level star. And what do we do with The Rock? Just put him against The Undertaker. That could have been cool. That would have been a bigger sell, honestly. Undertaker and The Rock for the WWF Championship. Hey, that, even the poster, I remembered it was like The Rock's face, and then on the it looked like broken glass, and then it was Undertaker as the. I remember the poster, something to that level. They should have just gone with that, really. But yeah, anyways, the main match I would have stuck with is Triple H and Kurt Angle in a street fight, a no disqualification, something to that level. And then there's that. 2001. Boy, oh boy, this is going to get controversy. This is the time when the invasion angle started, and honestly, the invasion was a bust. We could all agree with that. Mainly because they disrespected a lot of their top talent, one of which was Diamond Dallas Page, who was in this ridiculous feud with Undertaker, where he's like after his wife. It was a fucking weird storyline, but Diamond Dallas Page never recovered from this. Even in AEW, he hasn't. He should have walked into WC or SummerSlam, WWF, as the WCW champion, and then he could have fought The Rock. We could have done Brothers of Destruction and Harlem Heat for the WWF Tag Team Championships and a steel cage match, which would have been way better than what we got. And then we do The Rock versus DDP in the main event. The People's Champion versus the People's Champion. Fuck yes. I know that this would hurt the fact that we wouldn't get The Rock and Booker T, which is a great match, probably the second best match on the show. But honestly, The Rock and DDP would have been a bigger draw, and it would have made much more money, knowing that they're putting their effort with the best of the best talents. Not that Booker T wasn't a bad talent or anything. I'm just saying that DDP was a way bigger draw than Booker T was at this point, and they dropped the ball with DDP. We would have gotten Booker T and The Rock otherwise someplace else, so I don't get it why we didn't do DDP and Booker T. This was the right time to do it. This would have been a bigger draw. This would have sold like fucking bananas. 2002. This was a hard one because this is considered one of the greatest. Actually, this is considered the greatest SummerSlam of all time. Hell, some people even consider it the greatest pay-per-view of all time. SummerSlam 2002. I wouldn't go as far as to say greatest pay-per-view of all time. That would go to Mania 17 in my eyes, or Mania 19. Nope, 17, because that one was where we had everything that it was so great about the Attitude Era. So, anyways, SummerSlam 2002, which is one of the, I would consider it as a really great pay-per-view, maybe top 20. Top 10 maybe. I wouldn't go top 5, but I really did enjoy this show. A lot of matches were kind of random, but they worked to their advantage. One of the matches that we definitely should have gotten around this time was Undertaker and Chris Jericho, because that would have been a fun match to have. I don't know why, but I always believed that the American Badass and Chris Jericho would have made a great sell. I believe I did this before where I done Undertaker and Chris Jericho as the American Badass. I forgot which video, so don't even ask me. But yeah, I think Undertaker and Chris Jericho could have done better. They did Undertaker and Test, which was the worst match of the show. Not a bad match, but come on. And then Ric Flair could have fought somebody else. Or Ric Flair couldn't have been on the show. Around this time, there was really nothing really great to do. Unless you want to do Flair and Bischoff, which would have been kind of fun, honestly. Ric Flair and Eric Bischoff. That could have been a fun match to do. But, yeah, Undertaker, Chris Jericho, that would have been great. 2003. Honestly, I would have replaced Kevin Nash with Kane. And I think the match could have been even better because this time Kane and Goldberg, actually, everybody but Randy Orton were against Triple H. Kevin Nash was just thrown there because they had him on the payroll. And Kevin Nash didn't work well at this time. They should have just retired him fucking years ago. But that's not the match I would have done. I would have Kane in that chamber. And then in return, we do Christian and RVD for the Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match. We did get this match in September, but we should have gotten it immediately at SummerSlam, where it would have been a bigger draw. Rob Van Dam, Christian, in a ladder match would have been a much better match. And this would have been a good moment. Either one could win. I wouldn't care. But it would have been a great match, I'll guarantee you that. Another match that could have been great in 2004, John Cena and Kurt Angle. I don't know why John Cena and Booker T had shitty chemistry, but they just did. But John Cena and Kurt Angle, they never had bad chemistry. Hell, we even wanted it at Mania 35, but we didn't get it, unfortunately. But yeah, this could have been a good story of Kurt Angle like being the like GM that's like power hungry, and then John Cena calls him a bitch or raps to him. Could have been a cool match. Kurt Angle, John Cena, U.S. title match. Yes, there would have been a downgrade to Kurt Angle, but we could work our way out of it. We could do Kurt Angle wins by DQ, by countout, something to the level where we make both men look strong, and then the next year we do John Cena versus JBL at Mania or some shit like that. So, just thinking outside the box sometimes. Sometimes that's what you gotta do best. Think outside the box, and I guarantee you can find gold. 2005. Boy, oh boy, am I gonna get hate for this one. The match that we should have gotten at this one was Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels. I know there's a lot of Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels fans. I hate that match. It's one of the stupidest matches I have ever seen. Hell, neither guy wanted to put each other over, so that's why it was a clusterfuck. Shawn Michaels oversold like a motherfucker. Hulk Hogan bled just to get some attention. It was just one of the stupidest matches ever. But Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels, I guarantee you Shawn Michaels would rather put over Kurt Angle than he would Hulk Hogan. Plus, Kurt Angle goes on to face John Cena at Unforgiven, which is the next Raw pay-per-view. At this pay-per-view, Kurt Angle faces Eugene. Give me a fucking break. No. We're doing Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle. Hell, we could even make it a 30-minute Iron Man match. I don't care. But we should have gotten Angle and Michaels. The payoff. The 50-50 booking that could have worked out. But we didn't do that, unfortunately. Now, 2006 was an odd SummerSlam because Kurt Angle left. DX came back. ECW relaunched. There was really nothing like that big to do. However, one match, even though this shit shouldn't have happened, and I understand why, this should have definitely been the night to do it. RVD should have walked into SummerSlam as ECW champion to face Sabu in an Extreme Rules match. This should have launched ECW. This shows that they were taking ECW serious. And if you wanted to get the belt off of Sabu because he was in trouble just as much as RVD, let him have this match. Let Sabu have his moment. And then McMahon's bribe Big Show to fight him in a 3-on DX and a 3-on-2 handicap match. And in return, they give him a shot at the ECW belt where Big Show takes the ECW belt off Sabu. And then you move on from the rest of that. But we should have gotten RVD and Sabu. That way people watch this match and then that gets buy rates on ECW. I don't know why they brought ECW. They didn't want it to succeed. That was just fucking stupid. RVD and Sabu at SummerSlam in an Extreme Rules match. This would have been fantastic. I believe they were a tag team, and then this could have been their story to tell of like two tag teams at the top and for an ECW championship. This would have been fucking like one of the best matches ever, honestly. This would have been one of the greatest matches of all time, Sabu and RVD. 2007. Oh, this was a bad one. This was a bad fucking SummerSlam. Now, part of it was none of their faults. This was when Benoit did what he did. This is when no one was around. Injuries up the ass. Rey Mysterio and Triple H both came back at this night, but to like a lesser extent. Honestly, I believe Rey Mysterio was clear way before. So what I would have done is have some tournament for the WWE World Championship. We do because the belt was vacant because Edge was injured. But anyways, Batista should have walked in as world champion. Rey Mysterio should have fought Chavo at the Great American Bash, and then we do Batista and Rey Mysterio for the World Championship. That would have been a much better match than the Great Khali. Rey Mysterio and Batista, this shows that Rey Mysterio was not a flop as a world champion. This shows that they were willing to give him a second chance if possible. But yeah, 2007, we should have gotten Batista, Rey Mysterio World Heavyweight Championship. 2008, we should have gotten Triple H and Jeff Hardy for the WWE Championship. If we were gonna do this match anyways at No Mercy, why didn't you just do it at SummerSlam where the match counted more? And if Triple H wins, then that means that Jeff Hardy failed, and he gets a redeeming storyline at all the way up to Armageddon 2008. I don't know why they did Triple H and the Great Khali. That was stupid. Because Jeff Hardy loses to MVP? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. 2009. Now, I know Rey Mysterio wanted a long championship run, and I understand why he didn't lose to Dolph Ziggler. I guess the plan was to do Dolph Ziggler as IC champion a year earlier, but I think we should have done a bigger match, a much better match. Not that now Rey and Ziggler had a really good match. Dolph Ziggler has gone on to say this is his favorite match, not his best match, but his favorite match in his early days. But we should have gotten Rey Mysterio and John Morrison. Imagine how much bigger that match would have been. And in the opening match, that would have been one of the greatest matches of all time. If you wanted the belt off of Morrison, on Morrison, or off Mysterio, or on Mysterio, either one could win, and you'd still be happy with the result. Because then you could do the handshake at the end, and if Rey Mysterio fails the drug test, then we do a triple threat: Morrison, Ziggler, Mysterio. Do the triple threat match where he loses it because he failed his drug test. And then we do freaking Morrison and Ziggler from there on. That would have been better. But anyways, we should have gotten Rey Mysterio and John Morrison at this event. It was the perfect time to do it, but we didn't do it. Too bad. We really should have gotten it here. 2010. Now, I think the Nexus storyline was probably the biggest thing out of it, and Sheamus was a big part of it, but instead of like being part of Team WWE, he was just another guy there. He was just fighting Randy Orton, which honestly wasn't that bad of a match, but he deserved a little. He should have replaced Edge and then put him there, and instead we should have gotten Randy Orton versus Edge one-on-one, the greatest wrestling match ever. LOL. No, we should have done Randy Orton versus Edge. Basically, Randy Orton is so tired of Edge screwing him over, and then he just says, you know what? I cannot deal with you, Edge. You've been a fucking pain in the ass. I cannot be a world champion with you just screwing me over. So here's what I propose. Randy Orton, Edge, loser leaves town. And then Randy Orton could win, and then Edge could go on a SmackDown, make that brand better. But yeah, Randy Orton and Edge, this should have been the night to culminate their feud. Which would be cool, because in the following year, we do Christian and Randy Orton. Come on. 2011. Oh my god. We brought CM Punk too early. We brought him way too damn early. We should have gotten Rey Mysterio and CM Punk. And if you wanted to bring CM Punk, just bring him after the match. But yeah, we should have gotten Rey Mysterio and John Cena for the WWE Championship. Rey Mysterio and John Cena had a match the night Rey won the belt. But imagine how much better the match could have been if Rey Mysterio didn't have a previous match where he was already tired. He had more time to develop himself, maybe work some promo skills. It would have been the ultimate babyface main event of all time. We could have ended the show with Cena going over, them shaking hands, and then you could either A, bring CM Punk back, or B, have Alberto Del Rio cash in. Either one, I think we would all be a little bit happier than how we were. 2012. This one was hard because on one hand, I didn't think the show was all that great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like all that great, really. It really wasn't. But instead of doing CM Punk, John Cena, and The Big Show, why don't we do just CM Punk and The Rock? Like the epic double main event. We had Brock Lesnar and Triple H, and then we had CM Punk and The Rock. That would have been better than waiting until the Royal Rumble. We should have done it once it was fresh, hot in our minds. And then CM Punk beats The Rock clean, or we have Paul Heyman help out the CM Punk, which leads to their team up. But we should have gotten CM Punk and The Rock here. What do we do with Cena and Big Show? Just put him in a last man standing. I don't care. But yeah, We should have gotten CM Punk and The Rock once it was red hot, not wait months until later. I know that The Rock was busy filming Fast and Furious 6, but we could have worked some things out. I'm pretty sure we could have had The Rock cut some promos via satellite, or maybe show up for 1 or 2 nights for Raw, and then SummerSlam, of course. That would have been a bigger draw. Imagine the money that show would have gone. Damn. Fucking money would be going up the roof. We would have Brock Lesnar, Triple H, and the CM Punk and The Rock. That is just gold. 2013. This is personally my favorite SummerSlam. This is the honest truth. This is my favorite SummerSlam 2013 because it had 2 of my favorite main events ever. And then we even had the storyline of Daniel Bryan's road to WrestleMania 30, which was unintentional, by the way, but it happened. This is my favorite. This is personally my favorite SummerSlam. Not the best SummerSlam, but my favorite. This one was so great. Really, I couldn't think of anything. But however, Randy Orton wasn't on the show other than the main event. But what if we gave him Ryback, Randy Orton or Ryback, something to put Ryback over, because he does eventually face CM Punk, unfortunately, later on the year. But how did Ryback go from the facing John Cena, Chris Jericho to nothing, and then CM Punk? Come on. Randy Orton and Ryback, even if Ryback loses, we can still develop him up later. And plus, Randy Orton, come on. Come on. Deep down, this is kind of a dream match to some people. 2014, we should have gotten Sheamus and Rusev. The fact that Sheamus wasn't even on this show was BS because he was a champion. Both the US belt and the tag belts were not on the line this show. Not even on the pre-show. We should have gotten Rusev and Sheamus. He already beat Jack Swagger at the previous pay-per-view at Battleground. This is clearly just a redeeming storyline for Jack Swagger, but it didn't work out till the end. Why don't we just do Rusev and Sheamus for the US belt? That would have been a much better match, considering that we all know that Rusev is a great talent, and Sheamus could work when given the right circumstances. So, 2015. 2015, this one I would honestly keep the same. I really like this show. Even my rebooking of SummerSlam 2015 was not the greatest, but a match that I really thought would have been a cool concept. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but why didn't we try to do something incredible? Why didn't we try to do like winner take all fatal 4-way? Instead of just doing Seth Rollins and John Cena, why didn't we do Seth Rollins, John Cena, Kevin Owens, and Cesaro in a fatal 4-way for the WWE and US belt? And then at Night of Champions, we do Cena and freaking Seth for the US belt in a one-on-one match finally, and then we do Seth and Sting for the WWE Championship, like in real life. This would have been great to put Cesaro and Kevin Owens over. They do have a match against each other, but this would have saved us a little bit more time, and it could have helped out in the long run. And even though it wasn't going to be the main event, it was still going to be Taker Lesnar. This would have been a great match to just develop everybody involved. And like I said, it would have saved us a whole bunch of time. I don't know, maybe we already had a fatal 4-way, maybe that's why they didn't do it. But I think that would have been a cooler match. Seth, Cena, Owens, Cesaro. Fucking just take my money. If that match happened, I would have Actually, if that match happened, I would have bought a ticket to Brooklyn and go. That's how much I wanted to see that match. 2016. This show was pretty weird. It actually had a really good hype. This was around the time SmackDown was doing great in writing. Raw was take it or leave it. But the match that we definitely should have gotten here was Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. We should have waited until SummerSlam, not Battleground. Yes, we could have still done that suspension for Roman, but all 3 of them had to be a part of that storyline to work. It was just kind of stupid to have Dean and Seth try to build up the story without Roman. It was just really hard. They should have built it up, and then it could be a brand supremacy. Roman and Seth are on Raw, Dean is on SmackDown. That could have been a different type of take, and then eventually down the road we debut the Universal Championship Like I said, if you've seen my rebooking of how Goldberg returns, I would have done that. Other than Goldberg actually being here, imagine that the Shield triple threat, Cena and AJ, and Orton and Lesnar. Those are three matches I would want to see in one show. That is fucking incredible. Yeah, I thought it was too soon to put Finn Balor in a Universal Championship match or a World Title, whatever you want to say, whatever makes you feel comfortable saying. But we should have done better with all three of these guys. 2008, 2017, not 2018, 2017. Um, Around this time, we got Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon way too many times. I personally, if they were gonna squash Rusev, we should have done Randy Orton and Kevin Owens in a one-on-one match, and then eventually do Shane and Owens. But the real match that we definitely should have gotten at this show: AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship. I think deep down we could all say that we should have never done what we got, which is them waiting until WrestleMania and do it for the world title. I think we could all admit that that was a stupid idea. Or not a stupid idea, but just it was a disappointment. But here, I think Shinsuke Nakamura worked better in the mid card. We pushed Shinsuke Nakamura way too soon. We thought he was going to be the next Japanese or the first ever Japanese world champion. We weren't ready for that. We should have built him to the mid card division and then work our way up to the world title instead of just put him in the world title, flop twice, do nothing with him, have him win the Royal Rumble, lose that chance again, and then just go nowhere. I think we dropped the ball with Nakamura. I think AJ would have been the perfect guy to help put over Nakamura, and then down the road we could have done this match again for the world title. So that would have been a great thing to do for Nakamura. And AJ Styles, I guarantee you, would say those exact same words I said. 2018, this is an obvious one. Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley for the Universal Championship. Why do Roman and Lesnar, if we were going to do that stupid finish with Braun Strowman claiming to cash in just so he could get distracted from Roman? This would have been a much better. Why don't we just do Braun and Reigns, and then we do Lashley and Lesnar here, and then whoever wins, they could Braun Strowman could cash in later on in the show. But we definitely needed Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley at least one time, just one time. And I guarantee you, fans will not be complaining about Bobby Lashley right now. Granted, they did do some stupid shit with him with like the Sammy sisters, Lana, Rusev. So, but I guarantee you, if Brock Lesnar was put immediately at the Universal title picture, I guarantee you no one will be talking shit about this guy. 2019. This was an interesting one. Last year was pretty interesting. I didn't hate it last year. I thought it was alright. But from the rumors, we had two squash matches. The Fiend and Finn, and Goldberg and Ziggler. And I know that Dolph Ziggler wanted to redeem him. Goldberg wanted to redeem himself, but somebody else wanted to redeem themselves really badly but refused. And that is Shawn Michaels. What if we got Shawn Michaels and Dolph Ziggler? I guarantee you this is the match that I think was originally going to happen, but then Goldberg really wanted to be here. But yeah, I personally would have done Shawn and Ziggler, and then I would have done Goldberg have his redemption maybe at Mania. Because I guarantee you, Shawn Michaels and Dolph Ziggler would have been an even bigger match. Maybe down the road, this would have built up to Styles and Michaels, or even Taker and Michaels. I don't know what they could have done, but I think Shawn Michaels and Dolph Ziggler, they really dropped the ball with having this match. That would have been a fantastic match to do. And we finally conclude with this year. I still, to this day, do not know what the card looks like. I have an idea. I know we're getting McIntyre and Orton. I know we're getting Dominic and Seth Rollins. And I know we're getting The Fiend and Braun Strowman. The mid card is like pretty low stand. I have no idea what AJ Styles is doing, but I guarantee you, if Daniel Bryan was cleared or if he wanted to, I guarantee we could have done Styles and Bryan again for the IC belt this time. Where like, hell, this could have been the perfect retirement for Daniel Bryan for good. But Unfortunately, we're not gonna get that anytime soon. But yeah, I think we should land Styles and Bryan just to get it out of the way. Because I know deep down we're gonna see that match again once everything's cleared or back to normal from COVID. But yeah, that's my take. Those are the matches that should have happened at each SummerSlam. What did you guys think? Future videos. Let's do this real quick because I'm kind of tired. I mentioned that I was going to do non-wrestling videos. I want to review The Boys on Amazon because The Boys season 2 is coming up and I can't wait. I've actually been watching season 1 with my girlfriend. I think we're in 2 episodes in till we're finished. We stopped at the one where um, we stopped at the one where they're at that like religious group. No. Was it that one? Yeah, it was that one. Fuck, which one was it? Oh no, it was the one where they find out about the female, her origin story, where she comes from. When they had that one dude where he touches you and then he could see into the future, or he could see like from your past and stuff. I would have gone with that one, or how you feel inside, or your inner thoughts. That would have been. That was the one I was forgot. But anyways, we stopped at there, and then we have like 2 or 3 to go. So I'm reviewing season 1 of The Boys, and then I'm gonna review season 2 when that comes out, and there will be spoilers for both seasons. I want to review the Spider-Man movies because the Miles Morales video game is coming up, and I can't wait to review that as well. And I'm also gonna give predictions for SummerSlam, NXT 30, and even review both of those shows. However, I will say this: I will be working the day of SummerSlam. So, unfortunately, you might get that video a lot later than expected. But those are some of the planned videos I want to do. Anyways, it's me, the ALE Double X Prince. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And until then, I'm out.